everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. My name is Kristen, and this is my booktube. In this week's video, we're going to be talking about my June TBR. Now, this is a little rushed, a little last minute, mostly because I am going to head off to the airport today so that I can head to Atlanta for Memorial Weekend to spend with one of my friends. Today is Friday, May 26th, and in a couple hours, I am heading out to Atlanta to see one of my good friends, which means that I will not have time to edit this video tonight or tomorrow. So kind of good timing that we're just talking about my TBR for June. It's gonna be a very quick and to the point kind of video so that it will be 1, easy on me to edit, 2, short enough to where you guys don't get bored, and 3, something that I can edit in the airport on the plane without too much kerfuffle going on. So those are the goals for this video. I am barefaced, wet hair because I just took a shower so that I don't have to wash my hair this weekend. So that is the reason for that. Without further ado, let's go ahead and just get into it. So for the month of June, I have 6 books on my TBR. Because I am going to be traveling quite a bit in the next few days, I haven't put any rollover books on this particular TBR because I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be able to get through and what I'm not in the month of May. So I figured I can always add on books, take some off while in June, but these are just the books that I feel like fit the vibe of the traveling that I'm doing in June and the time allotments I'm going to have for, say, sitting down and reading versus having to listen to an audiobook. So the first book on my TBR for June is going to be Adelaide. So this is a book that I got from Book of the Month a couple months ago, not entirely sure what month exactly, but I did get it from Book of the Month as my pick a couple months ago, and I was just enamored with the cover. I thought the cover was so pretty. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really know much about the plot or anything about the book before I made it my choice for the month. So I did solely make this decision based on the cover, which I know is a no-no, but I mean, look at it. I mean, just look at it. It's beautiful. It's so pretty. It looks like a really pretty line tattoo that somebody would have on like their arm or whatever. And I just love the cover art. So when I finally got it in the mail and I was reading a bit more about the synopsis on the inside jacket and all of that stuff, I found out that it is about an American living in London, and I believe that she experiences some heartache while she's there. It's very fitting, one, for me as a consumer, because that is an experience that I, as an American who has lived in London, can kind of relate to a certain extent. And the second reason that I put it on my TBR for June is because it is the perfect physical book to bring with me on my trip back to London. I will be in London from June 2nd to June 11th, and I'm planning on taking this book with me so that I can read it in the city where it's set. I don't have a lot of concrete plans while I'm in London, but best believe there will be some coffee shop reading days, which you guys will definitely see in the vlogs that will be coming out surrounding my London trip. So that is why I put this as the first book for June. It just seemed like the perfect book to kick off the month. Next I have When No One Is Watching, and this is a book that I bought from Barnes & Noble a couple months, if not a year or more ago. And it was featured in the little Starbucks cafe. I don't know if it was like an employee pick or what, but it was on sale for $5. So I ended up buying it because that is a steal for a brand new book, especially at a place like Barnes & Noble, and it has been sitting on my bookshelf collecting dust ever since. I recently saw when I was perusing through Scribe trying to put together my June TBR that this book is also available in audiobook form on Scribe. I figured it was a good one to put on my TBR because it is a bit more versatile in the way that I can consume it. I can listen to some of it, I can sit down and read some of it, I can listen while I'm following along in the book. So it feels like just a good pick for versatility. From what I remember, the premise of this book surrounds the gentrification of a neighborhood in New York, where instead of displacing the minority populations that were originally living in these spaces, the wealthy elites are having them murdered. I believe that is what the plot is. I could be wrong, but that is what I remember from what I've read about the plot. Next one on my list is called A History of Fear. So this is a novel that really drew me in because of the synopsis on Scribed. This is another audiobook. So A History of Fear centers around a student who is studying a person who has committed a murder. It's very much reminiscent of the original Amityville Horror Murders, if you're familiar with that, where the son, Ronald DeFeo, I think was his name. Don't quote me on that, but the son essentially claimed that the devil made him do it. There are other cases like Son of Sam that have a similar argument to them that are used, where they were compelled by dark forces, by the devil, by whatever, to commit these crimes. And that seems to be the same kind of reasoning slash motive for the murderer in this story. And we are following along as the person who is covering the story get to the bottom of the mystery surrounding the murders that the perpetrator committed. That's about all I know from the synopsis that I read on Scribd. It is another audiobook, so I will hopefully be able to get through that fairly quickly and be able to report back. It doesn't have a ton of ratings on Scribd. There's only about 95 that have given it a star rating, but it does have high ratings for the few ratings that it has, if that makes sense. I think it has overall like a 4-star rating on Scribd. I haven't checked what it has on Goodreads or StoryGraph, so we will see going forward how that one stacks up over there and how I feel about it once I actually read it. The next book is The Last House on Needless Street. This is another thriller that I both physically own and was able to find the audiobook version on Scribd. So this is another one that's pretty versatile in the way that I can consume it, which will hopefully help me be able to get through it in a timely fashion. I really don't know anything about the plot of The Last House on Needless Street. It's just one of those that I've heard the name of a lot, and I know a couple people who have read it who suggested it to me. So in those instances, I like to kind of go in with a clean slate, kind of blind, so that I don't have any sort of influences when I'm enjoying the book. The next one on my list is The Tenant. So this is one that I physically own. I haven't seen if there is an audiobook available on Scribd for this one, but I wanted to add another purely physical book to read this month, and I decided to throw in The Tenant. I bought The Tenant back in January. When I went to Portland, I got it at Powell's Books. And I remember reading the synopsis and thinking that it sounded really creepy, really interesting. I don't quite remember a lot of the synopsis other than it has to do with, I believe, a tenant that dies and the landlord being suspected of murder. So that is pretty much all I remember about the plot of this book. I didn't refresh my memory when I put it on my TBR for this month because I liked it enough to pay full price for it, so that is a good indication to me that it was one that I was very interested at the time in reading. So I'm just gonna throw it in there, give it a go, see if I like it as much as I thought I would in January. And the last book on my TBR for June is going to be Death in the Clouds by Agatha Christie. So this is just a continuation of my read through of all of the Poirot mystery novels. This is the next one in line after the 3-act tragedy. So I thought since I was reading that one in May, I would go ahead and throw in the next one for June just so I can continue making progress on that goal, even though it's slow and steady progress. And once again, don't really know much about the plot of that book other than seemingly takes place in an airplane. So we have a whodunit in the sky that will make for quite an interesting dynamic in the investigation of the case for Poirot himself. So that is it for my June TBR. Those are all of the books that I would like to get to in the month of June. I have a few more that I may add on or take off. I have other book clubs I'm part of that haven't announced June books yet. So these books may change around a little bit, but for the most part, these are the ones that I'm interested in reading in the month of June. And we can check back in at the end of the month to see what ones I actually got through. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like down below so that I know that you did enjoy. And go ahead and subscribe while you're down there so you can be notified every time I upload a video. I upload every Saturday around noon Central Standard Time. Sometimes I'm a little late due to some technical difficulties or scheduling conflicts, but for the most part, I try to upload around noon Central Standard Time. There are gonna be some really fun travel-related videos, book shopping videos, book hauls, general shopping and haul videos, and some concert videos coming your way in the month of June and beyond. So now is a great time to subscribe so that you don't miss a single one of those uploads when they do go live. I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!